Good morning. So about 18 years ago, 18 years, 18 19 years ago, um, I was living in a church in Kaduna at that time. I was working in the church as music director, sound engineer, editor. I was in charge of the media. Well, and I was practically living in the church. I was living in my office because there's work to do. So I just decided to stay there. I have my my mom was in Kaduna at that time. I have my brothers and sisters. They one place, but I said no. I want to be a man. So I decided to stay in the church because basically it's sweet to be in the presence of God. You know, as the saying goes. Then, as a matter of fact, that went on. I trained a couple of people, but one day I was returning to that same church. I went to a place called Narai. So I was strolling back. I got to the church at about 9:30 and I put in my key and it didn't open. The padlocks have been changed. I went through the other side. I put it didn't open. So I was wondering what happened. What happened to my key? So one of our pastors was living close by. Then Pastor Collas, we used to call him. I went to him. I said, "Okay, what happened there? Did they change the key?" He said, "Yes, they changed the key, but he doesn't know why they changed the key. Maybe I should call Pastor Emma." I called Pastor Emma. Then calling is not as easy as it is now, because if you flash somebody and they pick your call, 15 naira is gone. So I tried to call while it didn't go through. So I sat just at the front of the church. There was no light that day. So I sat there till at about 3 a.m. I became very sleepy. I laid there. I slept till morning. So at about 8:30, when the church staff started coming to work, everybody came. So they opened. I went in. My main office inside too. It didn't have a key initially, but now there's a fresh key. Everything has been changed. So I started wondering. I went to one of the guys in the church, one of the pastors in the church. He said there was they knew what I was planning, so they had to change all the keys. I said, "Planning?" They said, "Yes, because God helped us. Somebody came and told us that you are relocating to Lagos. You are leaving Kaduna. So, and you had plans to leave with our equipment, cameras, and everything." I said, "Well, there was never a plan like this." Bottom line, the the head of the church came, and I went to meet him. I said, "Sir, this was going on." He said, "Yes, we got the news, and I'm disappointed in you because you plan to steal from us." Now, the person that told them is my very, very good friend. He's my best friend at the time. I was coming from his place when I met the door locked. So after argument, I said, "Well, there was never a plan like this." They said, "Well, you need to go and look for where to stay." So I was kicked out of the church. I was kicked out of the church. At that time, I'd already trained people that can replace me. So they kicked me out. The guy that took me in, that gave me shelter, because I was so ashamed I couldn't go back to my people. So the guy I started staying with, his name is Kingsley. It was Kingsley that gave me shelter. Bottom line, A few years down the line, I started living close to that church. But now I'm doing stuff. So I'm on TV. My movies are here and there. And the guy saw me and said, "Ah, that's my son." And true, I'm his son. Well, why I am saying this thing I'm saying now, it doesn't matter if the people that should trust you, if the people that you are depending on, if the people that you think are the ones that will hold your hand, if they are the ones putting stone in your pocket to drown, it is for a purpose. If I did not leave at that time, some things that later happened that turned out to push me to where I am today, because every single failure is a process for something bigger. You will not get to see it if you give up. You may not get to see it if you begin to force certain kind of relationship. So when things happen to you, yes, it is painful. You should cry, you should shout, you should do this. But no, God is not sleeping. There are things that have happened. Okay, in that time, one of those days, I went to meet my pastor then. I said, I want to be paid salary. Because every month end, the staffs of the church, they gather to 200 naira to come and give me. So there are about 6 of them. They gather to 200 naira, so I have 1,200. And I say, why will I'm working more than these people. I spend 24 hours in the church. I'm music director. I am head of media. I am also, so they told me, no, Toka, you don't have time. You won't, you are not a staff kind of person. But I'm hungry. So my point is, no matter what happens, every time people kick you out, every time you lose something, every time you lose a relationship, if you check and you are not faulty, if you have been lied upon, it is good for you. If people have ganged up against you, it is good for you. God has a reason for it. There is nothing that can happen to somebody that God has a plan for. There is nothing. The problem is we are not patient enough sometimes to follow the script. We are not patient enough because it looks like, this is going to kill me. It looks like this is going to be hard. This is too hard. But you know, the movie is always sweeter when the villain tries to kill the protagonist and it's looking like this is the end of the line. And something always happens. So if we human beings can write such good scripts, what about God? So don't sit back there and think that it is over. It is not. Even at this stage, there are still so many disappointments. So many. People will tell you, no, we're doing this together. I know I'm investing in this. And tomorrow they change their mind. There is a purpose for it. There is a purpose for it. So follow the script to the end. It will turn out good. Definitely.